Hello Aries, welcome to your 2025 year ahead reading using the tarot. We're going to look at what this year has in store for you month by month. And to begin, I want to pull 3 cards to see what the bird's eye view overall big picture looks like for you this year. January and February will be a little bit more retrospective at this point, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot to sink your teeth into. So let's begin. We have the 4 of Coins, a focus on this year, making something pretty concrete and permanent, a lot to do with your resources and your strength. The 9 of Wands, potentially something to do with physical prowess and victory even. We have the Lovers in reverse. Dynamic relationships set to be quite captivating for you this year too. So let's break this down somewhat. There is going to be a lot of focus on your physical strength and vitality, and potentially taking your abilities to the next level. And this doesn't have to look like anything to do with a competition like sports or fitness necessarily, but it's something that you manually do. You could be somebody who works with your hands, works with your physical body, or is just in a calling or path now which sees you moving around more, moving from place to place and seeking a kind of a victorious outcome. The 4 of Pentacles tells me that this year is a year you want to get really serious about your financial security. This person has lots of pentacles here under lock and key almost. It's not to say that this is a year to be shy around spending, but it tells me that it's a year of financial stability. The 9 of Wands suggests that you have a target that you really desire reaching this year, and a lot of you are actually well on the way to achieving this goal, because the 9 of Wands tells me that there isn't really much further to go, and maybe it's 2025 where this really gets pushed over the line in a bigger way, or at least you can see the end goal in sight. So don't give up, because the prize is really close. The Lovers coming through in reverse. Well, there might be certain relationships that you're going to be looking at in a different way this year. This isn't to say that a relationship is coming to an end, a friendship, a business partnership, but if you are aware of anything that's on the rocks, if anything feels misaligned, if you're just thinking the vibes are way off, well, 2025 might be a year for a realization or a severing that might occur, or a realization, I suppose, around, I want to repair, I want to try and fix this, I want to try and build the connection again, reconnect, and there is a choice to be made around important relationships for you in 2025. I'm going to turn that Lovers card upright and shuffle a little bit more so we can see what comes through now on a month by month basis. So like I said, we've moved through January, we have moved through February now, more or less, yeah, more. And those cards then are going to be viewed in a sort of more retrospective way before moving on with the final 10 months, well, the final 10 months, the 10 remaining months. January, the 6 of Wands, something very victorious, a really big win maybe for you has already occurred. And this is the 8 of Coins. This could be focused around that physical prowess and stamina, or it could be to do with work. The 8 of Pentacles is about where you directed a lot of focus in a very productive and transformative way already in the month of February. We have the 5 of Cups making their way through in March, and the 2 of Cups, relationships, in the month of April. The Tower for June, the Tower for May, I should say, and the World for June. So, I mean, 2 major arcana cards like that for May and June. There is something that is coming to a head, both in a way that feels liberating and also very culminating. and very official, very, very official. So we've got to look at July through December now. And I'm going to fix the camera. It's weird the way it's just cutting my head off, but maybe that's just me being bothered by that. The 5 of Coins, the 4 of Wands, the Fool. The World card is the final card in the deck. The Fool card is the very first. So whatever is being tied up and completed for you in June opens the door 4 of Wands here in the month of August for a very pivotal, groundbreaking new beginning in the month of September. 2 of Coins. Options are starting to open up in October. The Wheel of Fortune in reverse for November, and your energy, love to see it, Aries, the Emperor for the month of December. Just, do you mind? I think that feels a little bit better for me. For me, I'm like, now I can see myself. The major arcana cards, you've got 5 of them, wow, and mainly all from the second half of the year onwards. We're going to clear those up and go deeper into those bigger periods of soul growth that are occurring. So let's look at it from maybe a little bit of a bird's eye point of view. I think mainly that there is something culminating in the first half of the year to begin a new chapter, a new era, a new cycle of growth for you in the month of September. This is an eclipse season portal in September where a lot of beginnings and endings are tied up in one, and things can feel like they're rerouting or starting. And I do kind of get the impression, at least, that the energy of beginnings and endings are of a similar vibration anyway. So for the month of January, this has seen a start to the year in a very victorious and outward manifestation, very visible, very popular, very celebratory around you. The 6 of Wands tells me that you were potentially on display, that you were being seen, that you were being celebrated and applauded. This could be in your professional world, but maybe just even in your personal relationships, you know, people were validating your experience. People were validating your journey. The 6 of Wands could have looked like a promotion. It could have looked like a homecoming. It could have looked like a sort of more vibrant and dynamic way in which you were tackling things or being seen. And I get success and victory and triumph in the month of January. I hope you enjoyed that, Aries. The 8 of Coins for February. This is about having a lot of focus, sometimes even tunnel vision. This person is making some sort of looks like a freaking time machine to me. But what they're working on here is actually very similar looking to the wheel that comes through in the Wheel of Fortune for you in November. So something that you're working on in February might be continuously in the works or in progress all the way through to November, where at that point, the transformation of what you've been focusing on and dedicating yourself to in February somewhat takes on another spin or a life of its own. So the 8 of Pentacles suggests that you have spent February not necessarily with tunnel vision, but with a goal or awaiting something to happen. There's little else maybe you think you can focus on or feel drawn towards doing. The 8 of Coins suggests that your efficiency, your dedication, your fine tuning and this eye for detail you have is really valuable. It seems like you can see something in a way that others can't, and that might be a sense of nobody understands this like I do, or I have the Midas touch. You certainly felt like you had the Midas touch in January, so probably this is continuing your workflow, your productivity and your dedication into the month of February too. So now we're in March with the 5 of Cups. And there are 2 eclipses in March. One is in Virgo on the 14th. The other is in your sign, Aries, on the 29th of March. So this is the final Aries eclipse of the sequence of eclipses that began in April of 2023. So something has been unfolding in your world in spring and autumn of 2023 and spring and autumn of 2024. This spring, it's going to set the kind of closing down ceremony in motion around something that has, it could be, again, beginnings and endings kind of tying up in one here, but there's a sort of knowing where this has all been leading to, this kind of journey that began in 2023 for you at this point. There might be a disappointment, Aries, on an emotional level. Maybe not everybody is willing to celebrate you in the way that you wish they would. Maybe not everybody is even able to show up for you in the way that you would hope they would. The Five of Cups speaks to a disappointment, a loss, some sort of an emotional setback, and setbacks are obviously part of life, and they're essential really in order to reroute us. Remember, that does come up through eclipse seasons, that sometimes a door that closes for us can feel like a disappointment at the beginning, only to eventually really look like a blessing in disguise. I know this isn't always the case, but that's one way to look at the Five of Cups, especially since we're mourning essentially the Three Cups, or the situation or relationship that didn't work out, while Two Cups still remain filled, not spilled, and still available to us. So not every door is closed. There are still possibilities to reroute and to allow yourself this time to feel the emotional heaviness that may come up for you in the month of March. I don't think it's lasting too long, because there's those Two Cups. Here they are in April, and they're looking more beautiful than they ever did before. So the Two of Cups that remained and stood the test of time and were there for you and were uplifting for you in the month of March, really you can see them in a more rebirthed and more beautiful way than ever before. The Two of Cups speaks to partnership, sometimes romance, but it speaks to connection. This is a sense of we belong together. This is a sense of you understand me and I understand you. You feel seen, you feel supported and heard. This is a really beautiful energy for your relationships overall. Some of you might be coming together in a promise or a vow or an act of devotion, a renewal, or some sort of a promise kept. You might be being brought under the wing of somebody else. This is a lot of beauty and grace in your world in the month of April. Well, first major arcana, first card that we're going to have to clear up, it's the Tower. Mars rules the Tower, Mars rules you. This is not an energy that is going to knock you sideways, because this is an energy that can actually feel, well, there's the Chariot card popping way out, you know, to say it's me, that can feel very generating, like this energy here, that can feel very motivating actually. This card is a lot to do with success, victory, and triumph too, but there's an indication that you don't want to drop the reins here. You're the person driving this chariot forward. So this is a reminder not to lose sight of your goals or your focus in the month of May. It's going to be different for everybody. So the Tower, really at its core, means to liberate. Yes, it can feel destabilizing or unpredictable, even chaotic or crisis can come up as signifiers of the Tower, but the strength of the Chariot coming through here tells me that this wouldn't be happening or appearing in your experience unless you were really ready for this change to occur, unless there was stagnant, sort of inadequate belief systems, habits, relationships, dead-end job that really wasn't serving your overall liberation. And the Chariot is here to say, like, you're ready to progress, you're ready to move on to something bigger and better, and anything that you're clinging to, the Tower will disrupt only foundations that are, in a sense, unstable to begin with. Anything that's built on solid ground, anything that's true and and highest and best for you will remain unscathed when the Tower energy emerges in May. And what's going to be left on the other side of it is the path forward and the path upwards, and that's the Chariot card. Don't lose sight, because as kind of a more cathartic or crisis or destabilizing effect is something, it can be internal. It doesn't have to be an outside force or anything like that, but it is a force. And sometimes the most powerful forces are the ones within us. This is a reminder to ride the waves of change and continue on your mission, not to lose faith. The World card coming through in June. So something is completing. This World card came up upright. So far I can assume that this is a welcome closing down ceremony. This is a welcome graduation. This is a welcome rite of passage. The World card is the final card in the deck, like I said. So it's the sum of everything that you've been doing coming to fruition. The World card versus the Wheel of Fortune is a lot more like fate and destiny, whereas the World card is the principle of free will. So this is on you, okay? So that's in a way a relief. It's not an external or unseen kind of force working. Seven of Coins coming up in reverse, just to know that there's maybe going to be a little bit of unease between the months of May and June, and that's simply because things are so profound. But what I was saying was, it's a relief to know that the culminating effect is on you, and it's based on your free will and your decisions and your actions and your choices. So what have we got in the World card in June? We have the Page of Swords in reverse. I think this is just when you're going to run into opposition from others who are doubting you. You might be hearing, a lot of naysaying. Maybe at the very worst, with the Five of Swords at the bottom of the deck, this is belittling or even like hostility directed towards your final approach, your final draft, what it is that you're bringing to completion, the thesis you're handing in, the ceremony you're choosing to have, the alternate way you are going to be living your life. The Page of Swords in the reversal is the spoken word directed towards you in a negative way, where what is a better way to say that? People are, I don't want to swear, but people are, just dumping on you their projections. Everything that people direct towards us, opinions and what we should and shouldn't do, that's all a projection from their own experience. So try to remain in that sort of thick skin, heavy on the self-belief, because this is already coming to completion. There's maybe nothing that you even want to change about it or do about it at this point. So just know that it's up to you how much stock and weight you put into the projections and opinions of others around you. The Five of Coins in the month of July, but you're only human, Aries. This person feels a little rejected or pushed out or even outcast. You could feel like there's discrimination, and this isn't fair, and it doesn't feel good. The Five of Coins is sometimes the impact of what has been said and what has been done that you felt was messed up. Now the Five of Pentacles is suggesting that this is a time, like if we're bringing our mind back to the first three cards that came through, the Four of Pentacles was there. This is the Five of Pentacles. Sometimes you have to spend money to make money. It might be that case that in July you feel like, oh, I've overspent, I feel depleted financially, but the rest of the year from this moment is a upward swing of change and new beginnings and alignment and opportunity and choice and feeling more true to yourself than you ever have, or at least in a long time, by the end of the year. So push through the month of July. It looks like it's just somewhat depleting energetically. You could feel tired. You could feel though more on the emotional level that misunderstood, that rejected, or even overlooked. But come August and September and November, this is when a cycle or period is beginning in which a door is opening for you. The Four of Wands. It's an invitation to make this happen for yourself. This is going to bring around a lot of stability and a lot of manifestation of your goals. The Four of Wands is really steady, but it's still fire. So although the fours are more concrete, more heavy at times, the fire element lifts this up and says that whatever you're pursuing or involved in the month of August, you would gladly stay like this for a long period of time. It works really well. It's invigorating. It suits you down to the ground. It is becoming of you. It's a great representation of you. And it's solid. It's something that is going to last. It could come up in your home and living situation. It could be something you're building or renovating or buying. It could be something to do with property. It could be an event. It could be some gathering or something really special that you bring people into. It could be a wedding. It could be a party. It also could be something to do with the corporation you work for, some sort of a promotion. It's something that becomes almost like a part of you in the best way possible. And then we've got the Fool card in September. So this stability that's still exciting and full of life gives you this kind of spiritual foundation of, I'm happy where I am, everything else is merely a blessing. And I don't know why, but it seems like the universe responds to that in a way that sounds like, well, here, this is what I've got for you. It's a new beginning. It's the first card of the deck. It's very playful. It's very transformative. We've got the little kitten playing with the butterfly at the bottom here. And it's very imaginative. I pulled this card on my Patreon recently and I noticed that the background, if you can see, it looks almost like Atlantean, right? So there's something to do with September which is imaginative, exciting and adventurous for you. This might not be your norm. Maybe it's nothing like what you've done before, and that's why it's so tantalizing, I guess. So this represents the start of a new chapter, a big breath of fresh air, and something that is about to begin. Oh, why not clear it up with another card? I'm just keeping an eye on something I'm uploading here because it's a little time sensitive and, well, it'll be out before this reading, so never you mind, I guess. But make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of my astrological updates here on YouTube, as well as monthly, semi-monthly readings that I do for each sign. The Fool card. We have the Ten of Swords in reverse. I like the Ten of Swords in reverse a hell of a lot more than upright. But tens represent culmination and end of a cycle. It's so refreshing to see that something that has been a major drain on you mentally is coming to an end as a doorway opens for you in September simultaneously. Ten of Swords upright, we're seeing more of the breakdown. In the reversal, it's the breakthrough moment. It is a critical turning point, but it's decisive and it's firm and you are based here, okay? You're objectively right here, okay? Subjectively, people are gonna say, well, this is my opinion, la 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 la, but the way I see it here is what's right for you, at least, Aries, is very, it's a non-negotiable by the month of September. You're not taking this anymore. You are absolutely closing a door on what has been bugging you, what has felt like even just like emotionally and mentally fraught for a long period of time. It takes a long time for those 10 swords to build up, but once they reach this maximum, they've even reversed to say like, let's pull this all out of your back now. This could be an indication that some of you are doing like exploring acupuncture at this time. I see like the needles in the back. It could be something like that. Some of you are getting a tattoo removed or a tattoo put on. The Two of Coins. So the Two of Coins then in the month of October is about the freedom that comes with making this final critical turning point. Now opens doors and creates space for something else. You've had so much of your, mental bandwidth taken up by something that has been oppressive, something that has been frightening for some, something has felt like a monkey on the back, monkey on the shoulder, is that the expression? And once that is over and done with, it's like, energy can't be created or destroyed, only changes shape. Space doesn't stay empty for very long. As soon as we create space, something is right there to fill it because it's an energy exchange. And what you'll notice, I think, in the month of October is, I can go this way, I can go that way, the world is my oyster, what do I do next? And I do think, this path is emerging here in the waters are splitting. There's this big golden globe here in which you're walking towards rather, and there's like just a more limitless. I think it's good to know that there's options and choices. When we're not pigeonholed to just one thing, we know we're in alignment, because if we're just having this is it, you can't do anything else but this, that can feel oppressive and it can feel restrictive. And when we're truly in alignment, there are more doors opening, there are more possibilities. So the Wheel of Fortune is interesting because it's coming up in reverse. The Ten of Cups coming through. Just want to read the Ten of Cups following the Ten of Swords. Something very long-standing comes through with tens. So, if there has been something that has been long-standing in your family dynamic and in your personal relationships, there is a suggestion that conflict can be resolved from the month of October onwards, September, October onwards. And an end of an emotionally burdensome cycle is when that is all going down. Okay, so the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, it's interesting. Plans change. It's unexpected and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense in November. I mean, I'm not concerned because I have the Emperor coming up in December. The Magician card. Plans change and you're invited to go with the flow. There is a need to be more assertive and more of a dominant force in how this change and unexpected shift is occurring. This is not a time to sort of flail, nor is it a time not to take dynamic action. The Wheel of Fortune is in reverse, and when it's upright, it's about destiny and fate and synchronicity, and in those cases maybe we do just surrender and go with the flow and accept what comes up. Now in the reversal, I think you have to do this really delicate balancing act of both sort of accepting what's changed and it seems to be quite inevitable, and then using the opportunity in this not to just freeze if you can avoid it. But Magician card asks you to take an action that changes your involvement in it. You might say there are things, extenuating circumstances beyond your control in November, but you're still in control of yourself, and there are still things you can do to shape this change in an advantageous way. And I think you really succeed in doing this because the month of December with your Emperor energy is so formidable, so empowered, and it looks a lot like, your true self. It looks like potentially the most authentic version of yourself you've been in a while. So let's go deeper into the Emperor for the month of December. Thank you for sticking with me, Aries. I hope you're subscribed. Why wouldn't you be? And, you know, leave me a comment, like, whatever you feel like doing would be just the cherry on top. Am I being bossy? Maybe that's the I have Venus in Aries and Mercury in Aries. So yeah, 10 of Wands. So that's the third 10 you're getting. The Wheel of Fortune is also 10. So 4 10s coming through in some shape or form in the reading suggests that 2025 for you is a year of completion, completing many different projects, completing and bringing to an end certain dynamics that don't work, completing your tenure somewhere, completing your stay at this location. This is about a lot of moving parts coming to fruition, and the biggest kind of opening for what's coming in as new for you in your life is certainly, for me, from my point of view at least, seeing August, September and October. But other than that, it seems to be a lot about like what you're bringing to a close. And the 10 of Wands here at the end of the reading says that it's time to roll up your sleeves. The year might be over, but your work certainly isn't. In fact, you're only starting to find your wings. You're only starting to really feel like you're in control of all of this, and that you are an active participant in everything else, in everything that's going on, I think. And that's kind of what my last takeaway is. Well, Aries, I'll leave you with that. Thanks for watching. Bye.